I saw a notification that we're live. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Um, we are here to talk about organization change management, answer your question. Myself and IODG will be partnering to teach a course, a change management course, starting on June 6th, right? So we are here to respond to any of your questions, anything that you're curious about. No, while we're going to be here for like 30 minutes, feel free to drop your questions in the section, and we'll get to it and address it as we go through the next couple of minutes with you. We are here to respond. So I do you want to say hello to the persons who are joining us on different digital platforms today?
Oh, yes, technology can be a wonderful thing, right? Back
Yep.
in those days, we didn't used to have a Facebook, everything working together. We have to subscribe to different platforms. But this is good. So thank you everybody who is joining and watching today. I am excited to be here for the next couple minutes to answer any questions you might have together with Marsha. And then we, both of us, like she said, will be leading a program that is designed specifically for you. And when I say you, I mean anybody who wants to break into the field of change management or wants to upskill their practice. It's going to be a real rewarding program. So I'm very happy to have you here today, and we look forward to doing wonderful things together.
Right. So uh, there are some questions that people are curious about, Ayo, and I will pick your brain to see what's your thoughts. So one of the good thing about Ayo and myself, we are both change managers, change practitioners, active change practitioners in the field, and our backgrounds are so unique. Yet since we share similar experiences, right? Similar challenges as we navigate and help organization or enable leaders within organization with their change experience that they're trying to implement. Now, the course that we are going to teach is really to set up people to be enablers of change within the
That's right.
organization. So one of the questions that keeps coming up is, do I need a certification to break in, or can I leverage my existing experience to transition to change management? What's your thoughts on that? Okay.
I like that question, Marsha. It's a good one, right? And I like to always
Mhm.
answer with analogies. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So I will say to the person who is concerned about that, I would also want to ask a question to follow up. And the question will simply be, do I need a certification to cook? So I don't think you will need a certification to cook, all right? However, you want to be a chef, you need to get a certification. You need to go for training. So everybody does change management. So you don't need a certification to be a change manager. Naturally, as long as you have managed something or talked to people or sold an idea or made people see the benefits of doing something in a new way, in a different way, yeah, then you have what it takes to be, you have the basic ingredients to be a change manager. But when you want to be a change manager that stands above par, then that is where trainings and every other thing comes in, how to mix the ingredients in the right proportion to the right degree and leave them on the heat for the right amount of time so that it is neither overcooked or underdone. You get what I mean? So do you need a certification to be a change manager? No, you do not need a certification. But is it necessary, or is there value in having a certification to function well as a change manager? Oh my God. Oh, there is a lot of value in all of that. A certification, going for the training, understanding the jargons, the uniqueness, the nuances, the different types of change that happen, whether it's traditional change, whether it's the traditional change, which is like top to bottom change, or whether it's an hierarchical change, or whether it's peer-to-peer change. There are different kinds of change, and so you do not want to treat all transformation efforts as the same. So going for more knowledge or going for certifications, and there are many of them, and there are those of them that are very popular, there are those that are not so popular, but going for this kind of certifications, this kind of acquiring the knowledge that these certifications represent, because again, it is not just really about the certification, it's about really understanding the knowledge that imbibing the knowledge that possession of this certification implies. That's really what matters, right? So you want to get those certifications, get those trainings, up your skill, and be one of the best, one of the most effective change managers that there can be. At the same time, the second part of the question is, can I leverage my existing experience? I think I heard you say something like that, Marsha. Am I correct?
Yes. Can I
Yeah.
leverage my existing experience, right?
Okay, good.
To move into the role of change management.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. None of us is starting from ground zero, no matter where we are coming from. Marsha said, I, both herself and myself have different experience or different backgrounds into coming into change management. That is correct. Some come into change management in an accidental form. Some come into change management prepared exactly for it, but it doesn't really matter how you come into it. Nobody starts from zero, really. As long as you've talked to people, you've managed some processes before, you have some experiences, you only need to learn to translate that into change management speak. And that is what the OC, the masterclass that we're going to be running beginning from next week is going to teach you how to speak change management language and how to translate everything, the experience you've had before, into change management terms.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks
Marsha.
for that. I like how you brought the analogy of, you know what, do I need a certification to cook? Right? And I think that that sits well. I love how you respond to the question. I want to add, as Aya said, right? Certification signals commitment and a common language. That's what it gives us, right? So they matter, yes. He highlighted that, but they're not the gateway in, right? So it's showing that you're committed to learning about the discipline, though, no matter what certification you get. So you might hear about ProSci. ProSci is one of the most recognized entry point
Mhm.
certifications. So you'll hear about those. You might hear about CCMP, which carries more weight for senior level. So, I am a senior project manager looking to transition into change management, right? And you really don't want to go back to that entry level field. You probably can look into that certification and see what kind of transferable skills you have, right? So when you get in the room, is being able to talk the work, right? So certification helps you to, speak the language. Speak the language.
Mhm.
I think it helps us with that. So if you have a strong background, lead with the pursuit of certification in parallel, but don't wait on a certification to look for that change management job because, as Aya said, your experience is valuable and we are not starting from ground zero. We are all bringing something to the table, right?
That's
So,
correct. Thank you, Marsha.
I have another question that the community keeps asking, right? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. How do I translate what I have done in my previous career into change management terms, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So think about that a little bit and what would you recommend the community that is listening to us? And while you do that, I'll check the comment to see if we're getting any questions. Mhm.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, Marsha. I like that question because it actually builds up on where you landed when you were on your commentary to my own response as well, where you talked about you bringing in valuable skills from outside change management, or nobody comes again starts from zero. We all come in with different backgrounds, different experiences that only need to be translated into change management jargon, right? So how then do I
Mhm.
translate that? I think the first thing the question keeps coming up. I have a question from a follower on my LinkedIn as well in my private message asking me the same question. And when I go through the fellows through the fellows profile, I see that they've been a project manager, they've been this, they've been different things. And I said, this is simply just this already looks like change management, because change management is, what are you managing? Change. What is change? It's a project, it's an innovation, it's a transformation effort, right? Trying to get people to improve a system, to improve a structure, to move from A to B, however I want to do it. So it's a project as well. So if you've been an agile, or if you've been a scrum master before, you can also weave that into. So the point is, the first thing is, do not focus at all on the job title. And that is where people get stumped. Maybe their job title reads something like process improvement specialist, or maybe their job title reads something like HR, human resources coordinator. It does. Please do not focus. Do not be fixated on your job title. Look at the responsibilities, the duties that you carried out in that job role. Say, for example, you were an HR administrator managing people's payroll, payment processes, record of leave, all of those information that you manage as an HR administrator, right? That is what you've been doing, and that is what you've done for the past few years. Are there any change management related functions in those duties that you carried out for however long you carry them out as a change management, as an HR administrator? Oh, yes, there are. The fact that you are interfacing with everyday employees, that's a change management function. So direct person-to-person engagement is one of those things that you will be doing as a change manager when you eventually get into the system. So highlight that. So there are diverse ways. If you were a project manager, that's even very much easy, or that's even easier. If you were a microbiologist and you had no relationship at all with people, the fact that microbiology is a layered profession in the sense that it is very strict protocol from one level to the other. The ability to follow the structured regimen of processes from start to finish is something that you can also bring into change management. You can have that reflected. So do not focus on the job title that you carried. Rather, look for those things that are similar in your duties or in your functions as that previous role that you occupied and what you are going into or to be doing in change management. And that is another reason why the masterclass is also important. You're also going to really learn in practical, in the practical everyday reality, how to translate what you've done in your previous career into change management terms. Uh,
Yeah. So if I'm hearing you correctly, Ayo, is that change management? So every career has a little bit of change baked into it, right?
oh,
And
yes.
the pivot is how you name what you're doing, right? And you
Mhm.
gave a few examples in terms of project management and Scrum Master and looking what you're doing. I as I listen to you speak, I know earlier, no, probably like a few weeks ago. So an example I'd like to throw out there that persons probably weren't thinking about, say a nurse practicing. And I'm giving the nurse example because I've been working with the healthcare projects over last couple of weeks. A nurse practicing a new clinical protocol rollout, right?
Mhm.
And that is stakeholder engagement and resistance management. They have to think about how they're going to roll out that clinical protocol, right?
That's correct.
We here we're looking at designing a course, a career. So we've designed a course, we've listened to our participants, right? We've listened to persons who join, we got their feedback. So think of us, we're coaches, we're teachers, so teacher redesigning the curriculum that's
Mm-hmm.
impacted group analysis and adoption planning. Because as we learn from the persons who participate in the course, we adapt to improve the quality of the course that we are delivering. So the exercise is all about going through the history, right? Going through their career itself and ask, where did I bring people along through something new? Right? So you have to sit with yourself and say, okay, what have I done in the past that I'm helping, somebody, customers along to
Mm-hmm.
understand something new? Right. And some of us do it even as started doing it even at our summer jobs, right? Teaching people new
Correct.
way. I remember working at the bank probably 20 something years ago, and I'm teaching persons how to use the ABM, right?
Mm-hmm.
Telling them what's cool about it. So little things like that you can pick from, and the skills are there engraved in you. We just need to help you to bring those out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. So Ayo, how are you feeling? Are you excited
Uh,
about change management? I must tell you, I do love my job.
oh
I,
yeah.
I do love helping organization,
Mhm.
being an enabler of change within organization. Yeah.
That's right. I can see your face light up whenever you talk about change management.
Right. So I have another question for you, right?
Preston.
A lot of persons who, engage with the polar community and they're curious, they're looking to transition, right?
Mhm.
Some of them come with a lot of experience, some of them they are immigrants from other countries, and you know being an immigrant you have to sometimes start over.
Mhm.
Now with change management is not the typical job someone will, it like a entry point job. It's not
Mhm.
the typical job. So the question is, what does an entry point into the field of change management actually look like? All right. What
Mm.
role, sector, project type are most accessible? Because they want to break in, but they do not know how to break in. What would
Mm.
you recommend?
Now, this is
Mhm.
something I have to to really think about. It's a very intelligent question, and I understand where the people posing these questions are coming from. Being an immigrant myself, I I moved first to the UK, then moved to Canada, so I have two different lenses, but still similar in the sense that in both places I had to somewhat start all over in terms of building, not in terms of having the knowledge, because I have the knowledge, I have the experience, but in terms of gaining that credibility amongst and being able to speak amongst people that knew nothing, next to nothing about me, about what I had done before coming, apart from what I can say about myself. So, how do you start? What does an entry point into that field actually look like? What roles, sectors I'm reading, or project types are most accessible? I will start from the other end because that is the easier one to answer. What roles, what sectors, what project types are most accessible? The answer to that is, in my opinion, in from my experience, another person's experience might be different, but I do not think that there are any roles. I do not think that there are any sectors or project types that are more accessible. As long as a change is happening in any kind of sector or project type, a wonderful field for you to get into. The only other part of it is what roles are most accessible. Then I can say, yeah, junior entry roles are more accessible when you are moving from where you were a professional to from where you were an expert to where you'll be seen as a newbie. Think of it this way. Even when we lead change, right? You wanna In one organization where I worked before, they had been making use of the system they were making use of for over 20 to 30 years. And now they've gained a lot of experience, a lot of expertise. There are local champions everywhere in different fields. But now you're introducing something completely new. So you're making somebody who used to be a champion, an expert, become a newbie. So they're also having to learn from start. And that's the same thing. You're moving over to a new culture, be prepared mentally to
Mm-hmm.
to position yourself as a newbie. Newbie, not ignoring the knowledge or the expertise that you are bringing over from your previous roles, but a newbie in the sense that you are in a new environment. So you need to really understand how to make them see the value in what you're bringing. So you can target some entry roles. It will come in different with different names. It could be a change coordinator role. It could be a change analyst role. It could be a project coordinator role with change management duties. There are project coordinator roles that are completely project management, purely project management. And then there are also those coordinator roles that are a hybrid of both project and change. Target those kind of roles. It could be an implementation specialist. It could be a change management specialist. So those are the kind of roles you want to look out for. Those roles allow you to get a foot on the door, and then you can from that begin to explore the mansion. At least get the door open, and then begin to go from room to room. Another wonderful, important strategy that you can use if you don't want to even go from if you don't want to start from the bottom. Say you're coming in with 20 years experience, and you don't want to start from the change coordinator role all over. I will give you a very simple hack. Another simple important strategic hack you can do is whenever you get to the new environment or the new society, look for the whatever association that you can join. It could be an association of change management practitioners. For example, we have ACMP chapters all over. It could be in the UK, it's another body that is really very prominent. Look for the change management bodies in the country or wherever you belong to. Join them. That also gives you some visibility. And the more you are seen, a champion that is not seen to be a champion will continue to be treated like a JJC or like a newbie, like a newcomer. So you want to join this kind of associations as well. Position yourself, integrate yourself in the community, and then you'll begin to see those doors opening in time. I'm sure Marsha might have a different or a complementary or supplementary take on everything I've said. This is a wonderful question.
Yeah.
I like to talk about this all the time because I've been
Yeah.
in two different countries, so I know what that means.
Yeah. And it's more like a complementary one because what you are recommending is indeed correct, right? In terms of the roles that you've highlighted. What I would add to what you're saying is most people enter through three doors, right? So you have your internal role on a project team. So I'll basically call about change management coordinator, change specialist, change analyst, implementation. You can target those roles, right? But if you're currently working with an organization, look for opportunity within that organization. Express your interest to transition into that role, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's a good way to move from where if you are in customer service and you tell your manager, I really want to go into change management, that's a door, right?
Mm-hmm.
I highlighted just the junior position. So in consulting firms, target the junior positions. There will be opportunity to grow, but if you want to start, you have to target those roles or contract roles through staffing agents. So look on those opportunities. So don't. And he mentioned as well the communities like the ACMP here at Pollard as well. We do have people that join our courses, got jobs we can connect you with. Do not underestimate the power of volunteering on a change initiative. Right? That can give you experience as well. He highlighted the network, so your professional network actually matters. Right? Be
Mm-hmm.
willing to start change support or coordinating a role. That's what I would add, Ayo. So,
Yeah, and those are
mhm.
wonderful additions. Thank you.
Yeah. Great. So another question that's keep coming up. So, what skills from my old career will give me an edge? And what gaps do I need to close? But focus on the first one. What skills from my old career will give me an edge? And,
Oh
you
my, oh
know,
my! I like that question too. I think that's another wonderful, good one, a good question to lead with. What skills from my old career will give me an edge? There are as many career skills. I mean, there are as many skills as there are humans. But what skills? A lot. There are many of them, and the good thing about these skills is that you don't need like I said, or when we started, you don't need change management training or certification to possess these natural skills of change leaders. One of them is communication. You have to be a good communicator. You need to work on your communication skills. Be clear when you speak, carry your point across with confidence. But you cannot be confident. You cannot be confident when you don't have a good knowledge of what you're talking about. So it means whatever you're going to talk about, you need to study hard, really understand what that is about, so that when you communicate, that clarity comes out with impact. So communication is a skill that a change manager can never do without. You just have to communicate and communicate well. You need to be able to explain clearly, concisely, and accurately. That is one thing you need. You also need to have some people skills. Take note, I said some people skills. People skills are really important as a change manager. However, or I shouldn't lead with however. Let me lead with, yeah, people skills are really important. Getting people, understanding people, having them open up, tell you their challenges, make them feel free with you. Those are really important skills that you cannot qualify as a change manager. If you feel you do not have these people skills, it's something that you can work on. But at the same time, there is this hard part of change management that is getting a little bit more attention right now, and that's the change analytics. So do not box yourself into a corner and say, I'm not very, very much extroverted. I do not consider myself to be a people person. When I started this career, I did not see myself as a people person. I am, but change management will do something to you, and then you begin to unlock some of the skills that you didn't think you possessed. So if you feel you don't possess the people skills right now, no worries at all. Change analytics is a very important part. This part deals with data from change impact assessments, data from change readiness assessments, and you are able to get this data, collect the data, get the data, interpret the data, and explain the data to the actioning parties. So that will still make you need the communication skills I talked about, to talk about the data you've collected from all of your work as a change manager, and then presenting it to top leadership for recommended actions. So communication is important. People skills are important. Being good with data, if you want to focus on change analytics, is also important. Leadership skills. So all of these skills, they are skills that you can possess without training. Some of you already possess some of those skills in your different in your previous roles or in your present roles, depending on where you are right now in your job search. So what skills from your old career will give you an edge? Communication will give you an edge, definitely. Leadership skills will give you an edge. Data analytical skills, if that is the area you want to go to, will also give you an edge. And there are some other skills as well that will give you an edge. Does Marsha want to contribute anything to that about the skills that
yeah.
give you an edge from your old career?
As you speak, I was thinking about facilitation skills, right? As a change practitioner, you find that you're going to have to facilitate a lot of conversation, a lot of workshop. So if you've done that in the past, that is a good skill to you will need it in in that job.
Mhm.
I mentioned people skills. I'm going to also rename that to relationship building skills, right? Because
Mhm.
you are going to have to engage people through conversation. We encourage a lot of conversation, which is, like it's all a part of the communication skills as well. Um, Coordination skills, project coordination skills is a good skill to have. Training, if you have some sort of training experience, that is good skill to bring over. Right. Another one is you'll hear a lot in the change management space is influence without authority, right? So I highlighted data analysis, right? So you're going to use that data to tell story, to influence, right, based on what the learnings are. So like upskilling yourself in those areas are always good skill to have. So there is a question that is coming from the community, and I'll pivot to go there. So they said, does age matter? What's the age group of typical people in this space? That's an easy one, right?
Uh, does
Right.
age matter?
Mm.
Oh yes, age does matter. Age matters a lot. As long as your age is it matters. As long as you have an age, then you can join change management, and that's how it matters, right? If you can answer the question, how old are you, or what is how old are you, you can answer it with a number, and then you can join. It's only when you're not able to answer the question with any number there that you might be screened out, and that's just on the light side, anyways. But age really doesn't really matter at all. Um, some change managers are in their 60s, some are in their 70s. As long as you are working with people, even when you don't no long when you no longer occupy that role as a change manager, you're still managing change in one form or the other, right? So age doesn't matter. Do not don't think that, in fact, for most of the things we want to achieve in life, age really doesn't really hold us back. It is we who hold ourselves back. Because whether we do it or not, we're gonna get older. It doesn't matter. So if you feel I am 40 years old now, and if I start a program now, I will be 45 when I am done. Will I just start from zero again at 45? So, but whether you start the program or not, in 5 years' time, you're gonna be 45. So
Mhm.
whatever your age is, however old you are, it doesn't matter if you've had. In fact, all of the experience you've had before will really push you forward. You might start from an entry role, yes, but your progress will be faster than somebody who is just starting from scratch because you've accumulated behind you a whole host of evidence from your previous career that will make you progress faster than the typical junior entry change management professional who is not coming with any kind of experience before that time. So if you were in HR for 20 years and then you move into change management and you start from entry level, oh, you are going to move faster because you have relatable experience behind you that's going to be like a headwind propelling you even much faster in your career as a change manager. What do you think, Marsha?
I agree with you 100%. Age doesn't matter. Experience matter. What you can contribute matter. Upskilling yourself, knowing those transition points, that is what matters because I'm working with people within the field, right? As I said, change managers, we are enablers. We go on the job to set up leaders for success to lead the change within their teams, within the organization, right? Somebody with a wealth of experience coming to the table that understand how a function work, how a department work, that wealth of knowledge that you bring coupled with the change management skills that you are developing, right? That is power.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Right. So I think the the last part of the question was, let me bring that up. Uh, like it was talking about, and what
The
gaps do I?
gaps to close. What
Yeah.
gaps do I need to close fast?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, I think that is
Yes.
also very easy to answer. That is straightforward. What gaps do you need to close fast? You already have those skills that you can bring in, and the gaps that you need to close fast are those gaps that you will be also getting exposed to at the master class that's going to be starting next week. You want to close the gap of speaking the language, change language. You don't want to take 20 minutes to describe. I mean, to describe what 3 words change impact assessment will describe. So maybe you're already doing some change impact assessment kind of work in what you do, even though you're not a change manager. So you don't want to take 20 minutes to describe that only to land at, oh, so you were doing change impact assessment. You need confidence to speak that language. You need to be able to see where that language relates to what you do presently. So that is something that you need to really close
Mm.
fast. Change language is something that you need to close fast, and then your confidence with using the different kind of change tools like the readiness assessment tools for that, elicitation mechanisms tools for that, engagement methods, the different kind of change management tools to use for that. So I will just want to keep it at those two. There are some other things that you need to close fast, but speaking the language and being confident in your usage of our tools as change managers, those are two important things that come readily to my mind right now that you need to close fast. And you're going to be getting that in the program that myself and Marsha will be leading in the next couple days from now.
Yes. All right, Ayodiji, thank you. I thought this was like a productive 30 minutes live where
Mm-hmm.
we brought real questions from the
Mm-hmm.
community. And
Yeah.
thank you for responding. I know you just mentioned the program, and I'll just repeat some of the things that you have said. So, next week, Saturday, we have our organization change management career development program. The goal, so what the outcome of the program is that we want you to feel confident about a change management project, feel like, I know how to execute or I know how to start. So what we're doing with the program is that we are teaching you how to close those gaps, as Ayo mentioned. So you're going to learn how to define a change management strategy. You're going to learn how to define the enabling change management plan. And he had already highlighted a few. So some of the plans that we're going to look at is going to be the communication and engagement plan, training and development plan, sustainment plan, resistance management plan. You're also going to learn on the program, facilitating change impact assessment session, change readiness session, doing a stakeholder analysis. So tools, techniques, responsibilities of a change management practitioner. That is what you're going to be carrying out over the course of 7 weeks on the program, right? It's a practical program designed to set you up to know how to start your change management program and to feel confident in execution, right? So that's it for today. Thank you for joining on the different platform. As I see another comment, I just making sure. Okay, on the different platforms, and feel free to reach out. I saw a message was just dropped. I don't know if you could just do the WhatsApp number that you could reach out to. If Ogie could just put that up on the screen again for us so persons can know how to reach out to us. So you can contact us at that WhatsApp number 1343 462 7696 and also via email info@pollardconsult.com. Thank you for joining and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Ayo.
Thank you very much, Marsha. Have a great weekend, everybody.